My name is David. I'm the CEO of Dohop, and I will be joined here also by my colleagues for the Q&A, Christian and Oliver. So we'll start with a quick overview of Dohop. Dohop was founded in Iceland 16 years ago, so we've been within the travel technology industry for 16 years. Originally, Dohop started out as a meta search website, but we are, over the past 5 years, we've focused on being a technology provider to airlines. So currently we have about 65 people. We're present in 8 countries around the world, and we have 8 live retail airlines that use our software and services to sell Interline. So the first one of these was Worldwide by EasyJet, that was launched in 2017. And EasyJet came to us with the problem of connecting both across their own network and to partners. So we started out connecting EasyJet to EasyJet, and then EasyJet to, I think the launch partners were Norwegian and WestJet. And now that has expanded to about 15 partners, including Cathay Pacific and Singapore and Emirates and Etihad, etc. And then over the past, just over a year, we've been launching with, you see the carriers we've launched with. The latest of which is kind of mid-COVID was Avianca. And I'm going to show you a real-world example. So here we're on Avianca.com, and it's very easy to see this and explain this in action. It's much better than kind of conceptually thinking about it. So we'll go from Bogota to Hamburg. So Avianca we launched Avianca in, like I said, in April, and the launch partner was Eurowings. So Avianca is on Amadeus, Eurowings is on Navitaire, and that went live in April. Now this is the first indication. I've selected Hamburg, which is a Eurowings destination. And this is the first indication that something different is happening. So the customer is made aware that this is an Avianca Connect flight, which means that it's outside of Avianca's, let's say, regular network. So we'll continue to Avianca Connect. And at this point, the customer is redirected to a website that is hosted by us. You can see that it still sits on avianca.com. But it sits on connect.avianca.com, which is a website that's hosted and customized, built by us. It's a microsite. So we can deliver our Interline services through a microsite like this, which makes it easy, fast and easy for the airline. Most of the heavy lifting is done by us. Or we can deliver it all through APIs, web services, so that the airline can implement either the full booking journey or parts of it. So we're working with a full service carrier now who are, for example, planning to implement the offer part on their site and then redirecting the customer into the booking flow. So we'll look at this. We can see the itinerary here, but we'll step straight into the booking process. So now we're on the first step of the booking process, and you can see how this is presented to the customer. So you have the details of all these itineraries. Self-transfer, which means that you reach your transfer airport, you must collect your luggage and check it in for your next flight. And then, of course, this is the all-important what we call Dohop Connect, which is the connection service that we provide. So not only do we provide the software and solutions to sell this on an airline website, but we also provide the guaranteed connection for end-to-end travel for the customer. So that means that on the day, either leading up to travel, should there be a schedule change, the passenger is covered for that by us, i.e., if it's a schedule change that breaks the connection. And also on the day, if there's a cancellation or a delay, which results in a missed connection, we cover the passenger so that we rebook them to their final destination, free of charge to them, of course. And here you can see how we build the offer. So this is a sum of sector fare. We take Avianca's public fare, we take Eurowings public fare, and we then add this Dohop Connect piece, which is the guarantee. And this is, so here we've implemented some of Avianca's different fares, the small, medium, and the large, and we can also buy up to the business cabin, the XL and the double XL. I'm selecting medium here because it includes a checked bag. So Eurowings is obviously on the supply side here. Eurowings is also a retail partner for us, of course, as I mentioned in the beginning. So in this case, the Eurowings fare only includes hand luggage, and I'm going to try to progress. But as you can see, I get an alert that says I don't have the same number of checked bags on both sectors. So I'm going to add a checked bag. I'm going to add a 23-kilo bag to Eurowings, and then proceed. So this is the final step. It's a very simple booking process. It can be as simple or as complex as required. So this is the simplest process that we have, and it's the fastest for go live. This took about 2 months from start to finish. We can also fully replicate an airline's existing booking process, or like I said, we can deliver everything through APIs so that the airline can do the full integration. Now here, customer enters passenger details, contact information, and their billing. And here we get to the sort of the heart of the end of the booking flow. So what we do in order to simplify everything for both carriers, especially for the retailing carrier, Avianca in this case, is we take 3 separate payments from the customer card. So one payment is for the Dohop Connect solution, which is the end-to-end travel guarantee, as I said. And the second payment is for the Avianca part of the journey. And the third payment is for the Eurowings part of the journey. So these 3 payments get taken from the customer card, and they are acquired by each airline respectively. And the Dohop Connect payment is acquired by us. So that means there's no settlement, there's no complexities involved in that. The Avianca acquires its own payment and then issues its own ticket to the customer, to the passenger, through email. Eurowings does the same. So the customer will end up with an email from Avianca and from Eurowings, and then a third email from us, which connects the two, which includes a super PNR, and tells the customer what to do in case of any kind of disruption, or if they want to manage their booking in any way. Now, the customer, of course, also needs to accept the Avianca and Eurowings terms and conditions of carriage, and the customer also accepts our terms and conditions. So I can't hit book because this is obviously a production live environment. But what happens on the next screen is that the customer then has a very visual representation of each booking being made in turn and each payment being taken, and then the bookings get issued, or the tickets get issued. So this, well, I say ticket, but of course this can be a ticketing carrier connecting to a ticketless. This can be 2 LCCs. It can be a full service carrier, 2 full service carriers. That really doesn't matter. So we are completely agnostic to the type of carrier. We are agnostic to PSS or technology that's powering the airline. And well, actually, we're also agnostic to mode of transport, but I'll tell you about that a little bit later. I'm going to show you a second demo because that's also helpful to show you a little bit more into how we integrate ancillaries, seat selection, and all of that. So Transavia is another of our retail airlines, and we help Transavia connect across their own network. So these are going to be 2 Transavia flights. Transavia is obviously another Navitaire carrier, and here I'm going from Porto to my hometown of Reykjavik, and we see there's one offer, and it's connecting over Amsterdam. There's very clear messaging here around collecting your luggage and checking in again. Let's progress to the booking page. So here we get a summary. This is really the same process. We get a summary of the fares, the 2 fares. So these are the 2 pub fares from Transavia. First from Porto to Amsterdam and back, and then from Amsterdam to Reykjavik and back, plus the connection guarantee. Now that adds up to 215. And here, of course, we've implemented the bundles that Transavia offers, the Basic Plus and the Max. I can select either same bundle for the entire journey, but I can also choose a bundle per flight. So let's say there was one of them was only 40 minutes and the next one was 3 hours. if I might want the basic on the short flight. Don't care about seat selection and things, and I might not have a bag, but let's select the same bundle for all. So I'll do the Transavia Plus. Progress to this. So here it's made clear what's included. So Transavia Smart Connect allows you to combine multiple Transavia flights. I'm going to quickly enter my details here. And here I'm able to, so I have hold luggage included. I can of course add more hold luggage if I'm so inclined. And this is a key message. So at the bottom here, it says your luggage will not be transferred automatically. So in Transavia's case, in the Avianca case, this is a more light touch product from the retail airline perspective. So they would like the connections to be self-service. That may change in the future, of course, for them. But at present, they would like the connections to be self-service. So the customer is tasked with picking up their bags at the connecting airport and checking them in again if they have a bag. For some of our other customers, Jetstar is an example. We have implemented through check of bags, and in the Jetstar case also it's much more akin to a full interline solution there, where there's not three presentations, three confirmations, like I said with Avianca. There's only a single confirmation that combines the whole journey. So there's no issuing of separate confirmations from airlines there and from us. There's one confirmation that comes, well, is sent by us, but includes all the necessary information and a tax invoice, etc. So I'll try to progress here, but I can't continue without acknowledging that I have to recheck my bags. It just makes it kind of reaffirms that message to the customer. And then we see the seat selection. So I'm going to select my seats. I'll go for same seat. That's my favorite seat in general. And now you can see how the seats are added to each reservation. So different cost, but that's the cost. That's at cost, the same cost that Transavia sells those seats on their website. And here we are again at the end of the booking flow. So you could see that this booking flow is a little bit different in structure, but it ends up on the same page. Contact details, billing address, and billing information. Customer enters payment details once. We've implemented Visa and MasterCard for Transavia, same as for Avianca. We do support multiple other credit cards and, of course, alternative forms of payment if required. When it's two separate airlines working together, because it's two separate payments, both airlines need to support all forms of payment that are required here. So it's kind of the lowest common denominator of payment options, if you will, that we need to that we are able to implement if it's two separate airlines. For Transavia, we've implemented this, but more forms of payment are on the way. Now, as before, customer needs to agree to Transavia conditions of carriage and our terms and conditions for the protected connection. So same here. When I click book, I go into the confirmation page where I can see a visual representation of the payments being taken, and then confirmations are issued by Transavia and Dohop. Now, I've talked through most of this, so there are some keys here. So first of all, today we can provide an access to about 35, somewhere between 35 and 40 airlines. So we have these 8 retail airlines live today with platforms like this who are already selling. They have a combined number of partners of about 35 airlines who are on the supply side, and we're adding new airlines sort of every couple of weeks or so. There are key things about, of course, the protected connection and the servicing are the key things here. The protected connection means that we guarantee end-to-end travel for the passenger, and we take that burden off the airline of servicing these connecting passengers. Now, if an airline wants to in-house that servicing, if that airline, like Jetstar did, they wanted to in-house servicing, so that's fine. They already have full interline passengers, for example, connecting with Emirates, but they wanted to in-house and serve all interline passengers in the same way, and that's fine with us. We can support that. So of course, we also have a full suite of reporting. So because we are not an intermediary, we are simply a facilitator, we're a technology provider. We don't own the data, so the airline, the retail airline, owns the data and has a full view of everything that is sold and is able to fully analyze that through our reporting suite. A couple of key things here around distribution. So not only do we enable an airline to sell this on its website, which is key, of course, but we also, through our NDC compliant API, we have pre-built connections to Skyscanner, Kayak, and Google Flights. So we're able to surface these on those meta search providers, but also we can provide connections to OTAs, TMCs. Anybody who wants access to these connected fares can have access to them through our API. So that's important. And finally, on the customer servicing, so we run a multiple language 24/7 call center, and we serve through phone, chat, and email. So post-booking, pre-travel, customers can call us or email us or do whatever. And then disruption on the day, that is also served through that call center and is through phone, chat, and email. Customer calls in with a delayed flight or a missed connection. Then we put them on a new flight and rebook them to their final destination. Now, what we do, yeah, okay, fine. So what's next for us? Well, I say baggage through check is next, but of course we've implemented that already with Jetstar. So that was using IATSE. Now we can implement baggage through check for any of our customers. Of course, that requires a little bit more work on the airline side. And we've also worked with several airports. I mean, initially when we started out in sort of self-connecting, if you will, we started working with Gatwick Airport and we powered Gatwick Connects. Now, that was more of an airline-based product, and we've worked with several airports in the past. We worked with Milan Malpensa, of course, Via Milano was the original solution that started all of this. That was powered by Dohop as well, and probably started in 2012, 2013. And then Gatwick Connects was launched in 2015, and we have implemented several of these baggage through checks, kind of airport-led baggage through check solutions in the past. Now, if we think about servicing, what's next in servicing? So what we do today is we monitor customers who are or passengers who are in flight or in travel. So we know about all passengers with travel on the day, whether they are on a connection that they will make, that they might miss, or that they've already missed. So when they land, they'll receive a notification from us that they've missed a connection and that these are the options for them to continue their journey. Servicing also is about, so today we service from a call center, and the only way for customers to serve either part of the booking is to contact each airline directly. Now we want to change that, of course, so we're implementing a fully self-service portal that allows customers to log in through a portal that can either be branded to Dohop or branded to the retail airline and service both parts of their journey, which is very important. And that's mainly for pre-travel. We would expect still that on the day disruption, whether it's cancellation or delay or whatever, will still be served out of the call center. In some cases, we're operating with airport partners on the ground, so we're able to provide that service on the ground when the passenger lands. But in other cases, we serve it out of the call center. And finally, air to rail. So we are, as I said before, our software is agnostic to mode of transport. So we can connect an air segment with a rail segment, as well as we can with an air to air. So we are going live with one of our airline customers later this month with air to rail connections with a large European rail provider. So that's going to be very exciting, and we see a lot of demand for that at present. So that has, I would say, sincerely increased post-COVID, the demand for air to rail. There's a lot of interest within our airline customers and the airlines that we speak to in general. And I think that's it. but happy to take questions. My colleagues will join me for that to answer anything else that that people might want to ask.
Thank you very much, David. And we do have a couple of questions for you as well. I will start with the first one, which is, how do customers have access to the Self-Connect product?
So how do people book, or
how? Well, the question is it via a website, a mobile application? How, as a customer, I can access this Self-Connect?
Yeah, I mean, this is simply normally for the 8 retail airlines that we have live. This is integrated into their origin destination picker on their websites. So that's how the customers would be able to book this. So we surface this on we enable this to be surfaced on the airline website.
Okay. The next one, just for the sake of clarity. So the question is Dohop a BSP partner? Are you issuing tickets on your own plate?
No, we're not. We're not part of BSP. That's not to say we wouldn't be in the future, but we are not issuing tickets. So we are not an intermediary. So all of the bookings that we do make or that we facilitate are issued by the airline, or the tickets are issued on airline stock and by the airline directly to the passengers, which allows the airline to retain the customer relationship.
Okay, clear. David, you have mentioned that to do the through check-in, you're relying on the usage of the IATSE messages. So the question from the audience is, does it mean that the airlines that are part of the Interline itinerary, they need to also have an Interline agreement between them?
No, we don't require that. So the IATSE, we used IATSE in the Jetstar case, but we don't require an Interline agreement. Usually we are very, and it's actually not up to us, it's up to the airlines themselves what they would like to do. So, but usually our airlines, when they partner with somebody, the paperwork is very lightweight. It might be an MOU between them that allows one airline to sell the other one.
Okay. We do have a lot of questions around disruption, so maybe I will just try to generalize them and say, can you please expand a little bit more, and can you please maybe insist what is really happening with the booking, with the ticket, and also if you can touch as well very lightly on the settlement part between the carriers.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's say a disruption, a delay that results in a misconnection. What happens is the passenger calls us, and they have very clear instructions on that through email. So actually, we get more calls than we should because our call center contact details are very clear. What happens then is that when we get a call like that, we are usually aware that already aware that the connection has been broken, has been missed, and we rarely touch the existing tickets. So we would normally simply book a new ticket at market. In some cases, we might have agreements with airlines for rescue fares, and that we are allowed to use on the day. But we would normally book a new ticket, not necessarily on the carriers in question on the O&D, but maybe on another carrier if that's more convenient for the passenger. And that's how we would get them to their final destination. The second part of it was
settlement between the carrier.
Yes.
Okay,
so well, that's really the beauty of it, that we feel is that there is no settlement. So because it's separate payments, each payment is captured by each carrier, which means that each carrier gets the full value of the ticket captured through their normal payment acquisition channel or through their normal acquirer, and that's it.
Clear?
Anything to add, guys?
I will jump to another scenario, which is more related to selling. And the question is pretty straightforward. What about the selling of ancillary services on each carrier? Do you also support that?
Yes, we support all ancillaries that the carrier is able to support through API. So anything that we can sell, well, anything the carrier can sell and wants to sell, we can sell. And that's not limited to anything. So, for example, what we did for Jetstar is we replicated their booking flow exactly. So it looks exactly the same. It's delivered through this microsite, and we implemented all of the same ancillaries. So whether it's it's bags, seats, it could be in-flight comfort packs, meals, all with rich content and pictures and everything nice. So yes.
And a last question for you. The solution and the solutions you have presented, how long does it take in average to implement these solutions?
So on average, it's probably 3 months. I mean, I'd say usually we can move a little bit faster than that, but usually it's probably 3 months. We could do it in probably 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, but yeah, it's rare that we're able to sort of get the same speed from an airline as we can deliver.
Okay, thank you very much. If there are still questions for Dohop, well, you know where to contact David and the team, so feel free to do that after the webinar.